Most people coming into our program when they first start are stuck in what we call stress mode, right? If you want the scientific term, your brain has two divisions. One's a sympathetic and one's a parasympathetic, okay? Sympathetic is stress. That's fight or flight. Many people have heard of that. But what happens to your body? And feel free, practitioners, to chime in here if I miss any that you think are important for people to hear. But when you're locked in stress mode or you're in a pattern of sympathetic dominance is kind of the term that it's referred to. You can't sleep, you can't poop, can't think clearly. Um, Inflammation is more likely to increase. Anything else that I'm missing here, practitioners? I mean, there's a whole host of things that can happen, but those are really common amongst people when they first start here. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't even sleep through the night. And, my digestive system's a mess and I'm losing my hair, my skin's, dry. And that's being locked in a pattern of stress. Okay. Parasympathetic is where we're actually leading you to. Okay. So when you start to see even what you could deem like a little win. So for example, if when you first start, let's say you're sleeping or somebody that we're working with is sleeping 4 hours at a time, right? In 4 hour increments. And then all of a sudden they start to notice, wow, like I got 5 hours of straight sleep tonight. Okay. That individual could technically define that as like, nah, we're going to minimize that, what we call progress or a win. Like, yeah, but it's only an hour more. It's really not that big of a deal. Okay. But on the clinical side, on our side, our clinical team's like, woo, an hour more, asleep. That's amazing. And this is why is because that's an indication that your body is unlocking from that pattern of stress and you're becoming less and less stress dominant or sympathetic dominant. And your body is moving from stress mode to rest and digest mode, which is where healing takes place. And when you start to show signs of improvement in your sleep, in your clarity of thought, in your actual like anxiousness, like if you're an anxious person, when that starts to calm down, those are all indicators. We don't need blood work. We don't need to poke and prod you. We don't need to do any diagnostic exam or test. We just need to see that progress. And we're like, bingo, they're absorbing more efficiently at the cellular level. Cells are indicating that they're starting to heal and they are officially on their way to healing because they're starting to show progress in moving more towards the parasympathetic division of the brain working more evenly. So I'm getting into a little bit much here today, but I want you Renee brought up a great point because that in a nutshell is HHA, moving you from sympathetic dominance to allowing for that parasympathetic division in your brain to communicate to the rest of your body, down through your spinal cord, out through your nerves, and into all of your cells, right? Why? Because our existence is created between two cells. So that's why we're here today, is correct the damage that's already been done, right? And we're taking you through the process of what happens is sympathetic dominance to parasympathetic, okay? Working smoothly and evenly with these two divisions of the brain. And as a result, the good guys start to win out. The good cells reproduce and you become healthier and healthier. Does that make sense? Can I get a thumbs up to make sure I didn't lose anybody here today? I don't see any glossed over eyes too bad. um, you've been trained to believe that you have to have a test. And show of hands, like how many of you have decades worth of blood work? Okay, decades worth of blood work that gave you some indication of what's going on. You have to understand, I'm a huge fan of blood work. I actually think people should be getting it more often so then we can learn, what to do after. But many people don't know what to do after, right? After they get those numbers, except for maybe sometimes panic, like, oh my gosh, this number went up. Like, now what? What do I do with that? Right? But I'm digressing a little bit, so I'm going to bring it back in saying we don't need additional blood work unless your practitioner suggests it and or your doctor, and that's when you have a discussion with your practitioner. But if you're starting to show signs of improvement in certain areas, which our practitioners are skilled and trained in doing, they know that you're making progress in the areas that we need to indicate better absorption at the cellular level. Okay, so hopefully that helps clarify for those of you wondering, what in the world? Why are we not taking blood work like every few weeks to make sure that we're progressing?
Yeah.
We don't need it. Okay, don't need it to know that you're progressing. So hopefully that helps clarify that for some of you.